Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, Transformers fans everywhere, welcome back. LPS, Last Prime Speculator, here to bring you another episode of the Redemption series as always. The Redemption series is kind of my story of the live-action universe of topics, artifacts, plots, and storylines that were never answered in the Transformers universe. I kind of created this series. In this episode, we're focusing on something I've been wanting to talk about. That is the Knight ship. But we're not just going to focus on the Light ship as for Lockdown. We're going to focus on the Knight ship pre-lockdown. But we're going to learn about the Knight ship, and we're kind of going to throw some ideas that could have been explained in the live-action universe of the actual legendary Knight ship. The Knight ship was constructed in the ancient times of Cybertron and an exploration ship for the Great Knights. It was a mighty vessel that holds great power and mystery. The center of the ship features a giant magnetic turbine that sucks up anything made of metal, even Cybertronians, and then slowly grinds them up. The prison selection can be detached from a similar part of the shuttle of the craft. There is a small gunship-like that is used of heavy lifting and the capture of live targets. It also has its own squadron station of upgrades of small fighters and upgraded medium-sized cannons. The ship also has 5 detachable transport ships that are attached to the sides and the back of the ship. The Knight ship's build, an exploration ship, designed by the possibly legendary Knights. Max speed, 40 miles per hour atmosphere, 1500 at dark matter drives. It's over 300 feet wide, 210 feet tall with cargo towers, and 400 feet long. The Knight ship's engine is 6 large engines on the back, 25 smaller engines on the bottom. The Knight ship was constructed in the ancient times of Cybertron as an exploration ship for the great and Fable Knights. It is a mighty vessel that holds great power and great mystery. The center of the ship features a giant magnetic turbine that sucks up anything made of metal, even Cybertronians, and slowly grinds up the Cybertronian flesh. The prison section of the ship can be detached and become smaller shuttle crafts. There is a small light gunship that is used for heavy lifting and capture live targets. It also has its own squadron station of upgrades with fighters and upgraded medium-sized and top-notch cannons. The ship also has 5 detachable transport ships that are attached to the sides and on the back of the ship. The Knight ship was supposed to be created by the legendary Knights of Cybertron. At max speed, it can reach 500 miles per hour atmosphere. Its dimension size is over 300 feet wide, 200 feet tall, and 400 feet long, with the addition of the cargo towers. 6 large engines on the back, 25 smaller engines on the bottom. The Knight ship was the ancient ship of the original transport of the legendary Knights of Cybertron. It was assumed of transport of each Knight. Each Knight would carry some similar part of a ship. The ship has a short body and large rotating door with the ramps for getting troops, cargo, and prisoners. The ship has a long and thin covered top of armor. It has some spikes and ancient antennas surrounding the whole entire base of the ship. Inside this legendary ancient Knight ship is a massive cruiser filled with all kinds of exotic weapons, alien captives, and at this time, nightmarish creatures employed by the bounty hunter as Lockdown. Deep within the Knight ship is the Knights Temenos. Once a sanctum for reverence, it has become the holding quarters and the rarest of the worst of Lockdown's quarantine, trophies, and prisoners. The Knights Temenos was said to hold great and ancient power of wisdom and belief. Here, these Fable Knights would train, discuss politics, and discuss the futures on their great journeys to explore the ancient galaxies, spreading knowledge, peace, wisdom, and treasure as these knights would ride out into the galaxies and explore and foundation of peace to hopefully find some sort of Energon. The Knight ship was a legend of the past. Now it has become a ship of infection. So I wanted to make sure I give you guys a quick breakdown of the Knight ship. What I wanted to talk about before Lockdown had the ship, I want to talk about this ship in general was at one point Optimus Prime's ship. When Lockdown captured this ship, Lockdown educated the last Prime. You remember this ship, Prime, built for all you Knights, you great crusaders, used to explore the galaxies? Well, I've commandeered it. It's my personal prison now. When Lockdown was dragging Optimus in there, Optimus was stunned. And what we've learned in the Knight ship is this thing had long hallways. So this journey, when Optimus, before he became prisoner and met the Dinobots and met Grimlock, he was absorbing his ship. There was a long period of time, that wasn't shown in the movie, where he was becoming one with the ship, I believe. Almost the ship in a way was breathing. So what Lockdown was stating is Optimus Prime was once part of this Knight ship, right? We know it was an age of extinction. Lockdown again had possession of this ship. And then we saw in Transformers the Last Knight. But what this is about, it's about the rarity and the legendary ancient Knights of Cybertron. Maybe the Guardian Knights. Actually, it is the Guardian Knights in my opinion, right? What these Knights would do with these ships is they would use them as spaceships and travel the galaxies, right? Now, the legendary warriors in the Knights of Cybertron, the Dinobots, and the new Knights we see in Transformers last night, this was before Optimus. Remember, Lennox said this was pre-Optimus Prime, much older. The Knights of Cybertron were originally the first Transformers created, right? The Knights of Cybertron were at a state where I believe the Dinobots ran loose. Barbarians were running Cybertron at this time. And this is why the Knights were created. So this ship itself is obviously pre-Lockdown. The question is, how did Lockdown get this ship, right? What I believe is that this is my speculation. This Knight ship, in my eyes, has always, I've thought, to be a Titan of some sort, right? We know that Lockdown infected this ship, and he based it, and Optimus quoted him, "You've disgraced it," when he enters the Knights Temenos. They used to hold ancient power. The Knight ship also had a round table where they would discuss the future of Cybertron while exploring the galaxies, spreading the word of peace, knowledge, and probably collecting treasure. That they were great explorers. Also, what Lockdown said, this could be some sort of an idea, a idea of a pre-Titan. At this time, the Knights of Cybertron, the Guardian Knights, were Fable warriors that a Titan possibly could fly. The top part of the ship looks exactly like a hand. It looks like some way of attachment where literally it could grab something. It looks like the top part, you turn the Knight ship around, it looks like some sort of claw in a way. I think that this possibly could be an idea of a combiner or something they could have done, made it an actual Knight Titan, a pre-Optimus Prime Metroplex Titan, a wise one, a great explorer. The Knights of Cybertron, if you follow the app and everything and read some of the comics, they would have Titans and travel the galaxies. On the app as well, it also talked about a Titan landing on Earth, awaiting to be awoken. Could be a Unicron. If it is, that's a cop-out. But what if it's actually some good part of the Autobot Knight ship, right? In this ship, they would explore galaxies. They would fight, right? They would fight like Knights would do at this time, right? Learning the thing. They also were great warriors. They would have to. How did this ship get in Lockdown's possession? Or how could this ship have become evil, right? As Optimus stated. Well, Quintessa could have accessed this ship. Basically, somehow she got in control, right? I believe she's an idea of the Quintessons. The Quintessons were claiming themselves as God and wiped the history of the Transformers off, but they kept the Fable Knights alive, the Guardian Knights of Iacon, right? Where that this ship would be infected. If it was a Titan, right? Let's say it gets under pure evil and finds the sorcerer of Quintessa, right? I've done a video on the Great Deceiver about Lockdown and the Souljex connection, which I think they made an idea of Quintessa, which were the red paint and the infection came on the side of Megatron Optimus Prime. Lockdown has a similar cut. Where if this was an actual Titan, this thing is alive, and this thing would be breathing. And if this thing was a fabled Knight of Cybertron, and it was under evil control, it would get infected. Kind of like a broken heart in a way. You know what I'm saying? Only awaiting to be called and awoken by the last Prime, right? Optimus Prime was a Knight of Cybertron in Age of Extinction, and the Dinobots were legendary warriors. He was also a Prime. His name is Optimus Prime, so he's connected to both. Where that this Titan is awaking and becoming one with the ship from Age of Extinction when Lockdown was pulling Optimus in there, right? That's where the evilness would be corrupted of the hatred of Lockdown, and plus being held prisoner of its former ship. Like the ship is alive in a way. Now let's say on this too, because there's a hint of dark in this. Let's say that the Fabled Knights were on a galaxy, a journey, or somehow maybe Quintessa learned of the knowledge of Unicron being on Earth. Being Unicron is a god, and after the Battle of the 13, that somehow a fragment of Unicron was somehow in this giant galaxy, and when this Knight ship was on its journey, or maybe held captive, that's also where it got evil. It looks very similar to what I thought of Age of Extinction, that concept of the hand controlling the whole galaxies. The idea of possibly Unicron, where that could have infected this Titan. The Titans heed the call of the last Prime, right? If you're familiar with Fall of Cybertron, I love the Titans, and there was rumors they were going to present a Titan. Could have been the sub in last night, but they didn't touch on that either. Well, that this ship itself would explain an actual origins through a Knight ship in Optimus Prime, in the Titans, and connecting it with real Transformers lore with their own touch, where it got infected and got hands in the wrong possession, being that this was a Titan what the Knights would use to explore the galaxies. This Knight ship went on the quest with the Guardian Knights of Iacon, led by Optimus Prime. got a hold of evil possession by Quintessa, maybe a fragment of Unicron, where literally it became infected. And it became heartbroken that the ship itself is also infected, just like Megatron and Optimus Prime. It was under the control of that type of hatred that it would get sick and would become evil. And that would make so much sense, because again, I thought when Optimus was getting dragged in by Lockdown, the ship itself was coming alive. All to find out Lockdown's personal prison, the Knights Temenos, and its holiness of the Knights Temenos, where these ancient weapons would go, became part of the Gladiator games itself too, right? And also being held as a prisoner, where literally the most royalty and beautiful thing of peace, of honor, of integrity, is where the spark of the Titan actually is, where literally the spark of this Titan is literally been corrupted. So there you guys go. I hope you enjoyed the little brief history of the Knight ship, and then the speculation of the journey of the Titan, right? It would all make sense, be in the app, be in the comics, be tied into real Transformers lore. If you're not familiar with this channel, we dig deep in the lore of Transformers. To my subscribers, I love you so much. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and not only this, when you subscribe, make sure you hit subscribe, the check button to save subscribe, and then submit it. And then that way you'll be updated with all LPS notification squad with these new YouTube updates. Follow me on Twitter at Prime Speculator. Follow me on Instagram at Last Prime Speculator. And don't forget to subscribe. To my community, my subscribers, I love you guys so much. Without you, there's no LPS. LPS here to bring you another episode of the Redemption series. Peace.